Hey everyone, Kurt with RC Digging 2401. This video is going to cover how to pack your planetary gears in your final drive on the 360L excavator. It's not that daunting of a task, and it's actually quite easy when you compare it to some of the other final drives that you end up packing with some of the other pieces of equipment. So let's get right into it. The first thing we're going to do is take a bar clamp and put it across the length of the track to compress the tensioner so that you can pull the pin off. All right, we're going to grab this one here, give it a little pull, set your pin off to the side. All right, so I don't know if it showed, but we just separated the track right here. We'll take the bar clamp off, set that off to the side, and then pull the track off. We'll just set that off to the side. So your planetary is, or I should say your final drive is right here. And we'll take all of these out. These are 1.5 millimeters. Well, I pulled the cover off the final drive and realized that I had accidentally stopped the video. But what I found is the cover had a stud for one of the gears that broke off, and it was maybe, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch tall. So I ground that off and I drilled out the hole, and then I drilled it out for a 3 millimeter cap screw, and then I threaded it. So there it is, closest to my thumb. It's, I hope it's going to work. I filed down the sharp edges of the threads, and hopefully that'll spare the inside of the gear. It looks a little Frankensteinish, but I think it'll hopefully work long enough until I get my parts. And of course I use permanent Loctite on that just to keep it in place. So here's the planetary stack. I'll just pull these out. Oh, that looks kind of good. That gear underneath looks good. We'll pull this out. You can see inside there those. Now, it's pretty dry. But despite that, they still look good. Oops. There's another one hanging up inside there. So there's a little bit of grease on some of these. There's another gear. There's one more. All right, so there's 3 per stack. And here's 3 gears. And those 3 gears. And we have that we jerry-rigged. and then the 3 gears for this. So when you get it all taken apart, inspect, wipe off all the grease, get everything as clean as possible. Take a look at your little planetary gears. Take a look at the gears inside here, and make sure that you don't have any chips or wearing. And of course, take a look at all the little studs right here that your planetary gears sit in. So I'm going to pause this and I'll take a look at these gears, get them all cleaned up, and I'll be back. I've got everything inspected, and all these planetaries look good for the 3 stacks. Got a blob of grease that I've worked in on the planetaries inside the planetary cover. And so let's start throwing some grease on these components and getting it reassembled. Oh, the other thing is, you can probably see inside here this shiny metal part right here. That's a washer. And because it's staying in place, I'm just going to leave it there. And I've taken a look at the final drive gear, and that looks good too. So I'm just going to leave everything as it is and throw a little grease on there and start reassembling this. Shoot a little bit of grease right here in the center, and then work it around. That one's good. We'll do the other 3 like that too, or the other 2 like that. Okay, we'll take this, slide it back inside. And this is a pin that goes through all 3 stacks. And we will put that right in there. And get that slid in there. All right. I've tried doing this a number of different ways on the other side, and I think that so far this is the best way, because it's kind of hard to tell if the 3 planetaries are around that drive gear. It feels like it's sitting in there pretty square. And when you're all done, one way on how to know if you're done is that pin, I should have showed you, but that pin sits right inside the center, and there's a recess that the pin goes into. And if it's sitting in there right, in the correct way right now, which I'm kind of thinking it is, then that pin will go right into the recess and hold everything in alignment. So let's try the next one. And so it's planetary gears go in, first. Okay, we'll throw a little grease on that, or a lot of grease, whichever. Let's get that pushed in there. Okay, clearly that's not seated. So we'll mess around with a little bit. There. I don't know if you saw that, but it just seated. So, good deal. Get the last one on here. Throw a dollop of grease on. And why is that not going in? There we go. All right. I'm confident, kind of confident. And we'll get, got some grease in there. So let's just see. Sometimes you got to move these around just a little bit to get those gears to turn where they need to be, and then it'll seat. All right, I'm going to pause this as I do that. Well, the last stack wasn't seated properly, and so that kept the 4 planetaries in the cover from seating on the main gear of the last stack. And we're at a point now where we can throw all the cap screws back in. I'm going to use some medium Loctite on that. I think it's 242. And get this thing back together. We'll put the track on and see if this actually works. I'm hoping that it does. All right, the medium Loctite is actually 243. Okay, got the first one on. I'm going to throw a few more in here. Okay, I'll be right back after I get the rest of these screwed in. Well, I got all the cap screws in. It took a little bit of finagling to get this cover to sit flush against the sprocket. But it's in, and let's try it out. Man, that sounds pretty good. I don't hear any grinding or anything, you know, that would be of concern because of this little fix that I did. Sounds actually pretty good. The other side sounds kind of loud, but it doesn't sound bad. So anyway, we'll get the track back on and put this thing in the dirt and see how it does. Okay, I got the track on, got the bar clamp there, and got a little piece of 1x to pick up the slack to give me more room. And then I used, a door shim that you can see right there to also pick up the slack. And the pin that I'm putting in is right here. And so that's it. And I'm just going to tap that pin in. It's a good friction fit pin, and everything should be good to go. And I'll put this in the dirt and try it out. All right, so here it is. Everything's done, and the initial running, just getting to where it was just there, right there, sounds good. A little kink in the track there. Man, I can't complain about that at all. With that one final where I had to put that 3mm cap screw in, I don't know why it wouldn't work for quite a while. All right, well, I hope this helped someone out, who hasn't packed grease in their planetaries, the final drive. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it.